I've had such a lovely conversation here today, and the only thing left to do is for you to hate me when I make you sell your teammates under the bus in our beloved section at Under the Team Bus. So, Ollie, simple as you like. It's literally quick fires again, but instead of this time, it's what your opinions are. It's whichever your teammate answers fits the weird question.
Fair enough.
So, if you run out of answers, you're not allowed to just say yourself either, because I've had a few cop-outs.
No, if I run out of answers, I'll just say Murphy because I like chucking him under the bus.
Good, because that means he has to come on, and then I get another guest, and he can just slate you for an hour.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So we start off with a nice one. Who's the hardest tackler in the team?
Tom Gordon.
Fair, good answer. Who's got the fastest feet?
Tom Jordan's got a good step. George Horn.
Really?
Say George Horn.
Phenomenal good step.
Yeah, Jamie, like Dobie's got deceptively quick feet and he's rapid as well. So I'll maybe say Jamie or George. So, yeah.
I'll let you have it too. Who is the human turnstile? Who do you look at and think, well, that's a missed tackle? In training, not in a game, because obviously nobody misses tackles in a game.
Oh, in training. I say Murphy because he's slow. He's just running around.
And now the problem is I now know Murphy's your cop-out answer. Well.
Yeah.
I've got to go back to training 2 days. I'm not saying to anybody.
Yeah.
Who's most up for a night out in the team? Who's the one after a game that's like, so we're on the beers?
Cole Forbes.
Cole Forbes loves a beer.
Loves a beer. Yeah.
Is that the South? Is that the South coming back up there?
Kiwis, yeah, probably.
Right. Who can't handle the night out once Cole's arranged the night out?
See, it's not a cop-out answer, but Murphy can't.
Can you not?
Nah, he disappears. He smoke bombs all the time.
Oh, Murphy, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, I know. He does it all the time. He'll get to a certain point and he'll just take himself home, which is probably responsible. But, it's a very responsible thing to do. But he's one for just leaving early, just getting up and if his mind's not in it, he's like he'll have a couple and then just go home. Yeah, so I mean, I'm saying he can't handle it. He's just very grown up and responsible. I'm not. You don't force anyone to drink, but yeah,
that's what you mean. When you're not up for a night out, there's no worse place to be than in a pub with other boys.
I know.
But I've smoke bombed a few nights myself. I can't.
Oh, yeah, I mean we all have to.
Every now and again, someone's got. I just don't fancy it. Who's the next? Who's got the worst fashion sense? Who's turned up in some outrageous clobber and you think, where have you managed to get that?
Rory Darge, 100%. Rory Darge.
What's he rocking?
He wears we take the piss out of him all the time because he turned up to the pub in like a long sleeve polo shirt, buttoned up.
That's a bit rogue there in 2022.
To be fair, he's not fussed at all. Like if you take the piss out of him for whatever he's wearing, he doesn't really care and he'll continue to wear it, which is fair enough. But his fashion sense is dreadful.
He's got to be bad at something. He seems to be pretty good at everything else. Yeah, so the fact that he can't pick out clothes is a good. Yeah. It makes me feel better about myself. Who's the biggest joker in the changing room? Who's always pulling pranks?
Walter Fafita is actually. He loves just joking around. He's never seems to be serious, and he's always got the speaker on.
Love that.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. Who's the best dancer? Who's in the changing room cutting shapes after a win or after a loss?
I don't know actually. Who would be the best dancer? I'm actually not sure who would be the best dancer.
Sounds like I've just done Glasgow's next social activity.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this. Darge, if he gets quite steaming on a night out, he'll start dancing, and it's hilarious.
I love that.
Just no care in the world. It's quite funny.
I think you've answered my next question, which is worst answer there. But
yeah, maybe Darge actually. Yeah, or Murphy. Murphy's got really long arms, so he's a bad dancer.
Gangly.
Gregor Brown's a bad dancer.
Really?
He's a serial two-stepper and does nothing else.
The don't spill the pint, it doesn't even move. It's like gyro stable.
Yeah, he's bad for it.
Okay. So, next one. Who's the player where they've just had the most natural skill you've ever seen? You go to training and you're like, this not necessarily doesn't try, but he just makes rugby look effortless.
I don't know. I've always said that one of the best guys I've ever trained with was Pete Horn. He was just awesome.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, his skill set was just so good, and he was just he just seemed to be so calm on the ball all the time. Somebody like Hasto as well, when he was at Glasgow, he just looked like so calm all the time and just like so casual when he's kicking or when he's like kind of dummying and going through the line and stuff like that. Hasto was like pretty impressive with that, and you see that when he plays as well.
Fair. And then almost vice versa that. Who's not necessarily the most talented skill-wise player I've ever seen, but like, just like natural freak athlete where it's like you could do CrossFit at the elite level if you wanted to.
Dodge, 100% dodge. Again,
that's fair.
It's hilarious watching him try and pass the ball sometimes. I mean, for his own sake, he's gotten a lot better, but he's a freak athlete. Like the guy just seems to be shredded all the time, and I know what his diet's like, and he shouldn't look like that from his diet.
You've done a nice job there. You've ratted out his fashion sense and ratted him out to the strength and conditioning coach there as well.
Well, if he's performing well, it doesn't matter.
Games, exactly. Nobody's going to change what he's doing. But
yeah, exactly.
Game's the game. I love that. That's exactly what Under the Team Bus is here for. So, who's got the worst sidestep you've ever seen? Who pops a sidestep in like warm up touch, and you think, what are you playing at?
See, I'm just going back to this. Murphy has a dreadful sidestep.
Just slow feet.
Yeah, slow feet. Well, he's also got big skis as feet. Big ski things. But he does this kind of wiggle in the air, like
the goosey, the phenomenal goosey.
A weird goose, but doesn't go anywhere.
The guy that jumps, but he just goes up and comes straight back down in the same spot.
Literally, yeah, it's terrible.
I'm part of the front row union, so I'm saying nothing. Who's got best tunes? You said Fafita's always got the stereo, so I imagine not a lot of people get a shot, but.
Walter's got good tunes. He seems to mix it up quite well as well. Like sometimes he'll have like some music from NZ or something, and then he'll have like some old bangers. Like he's had Katy Perry on quite a few times.
I love that. Something for everybody.
Yeah.
I also love whenever because we get rugby boys on, and they go like, "Oh, they've got some bangers for the boys," and it'll always be traditional trash pop. Like, it's never he's got like Linkin Park songs. So I was like, oh, it's got Katy Perry, and it's actually quite good.
Yeah, some old Katy Perry stuff. It never misses.
I love that. Right. Who is the future coach when you look at somebody you think you've got like just coach written all over you?
Basically, who's the biggest nose? Ross Thompson could coach. I don't know if he could be bothered, but he's like so switched on. Yeah.
Just rugby IQ through the roof.
Yeah. Stafford's a bit of a nose as well sometimes, actually. He could probably coach. He could be a skills coach. But like somebody like obviously played with Pete Horn, he was always going to be a coach. You can just tell. You can always tell what players are going to be coaches. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If they're just a nose all the time, then they're going to be a coach.
I love that. Who is hard as nails? Who's somebody that if it all say there's like a big shirt pulling contest, who's somebody you want stood behind you if it all kicks off?
I'd say Tommy G.
Really?
Fair. Yeah, he is hard. Yeah, I remember watching. Like, it just seems to be any guy that runs into Tom Gordon, he's just going to stick his head down. And then when we played the Bulls, Marcel Coetzee ran off the back of the line out straight into Tom Gordon, and
that'd be terrifying.
He did get sparked, to be fair, because he got his head on the wrong side, but like that was one of the biggest collisions I've ever seen.
What a complete sidetrack. What do you do in that? Like, because obviously as a fullback, you get like a nice sort of prime time seat for situations like that. Yeah. And you kind of just like, oh my god.
I think it varies on the situation. I remember playing Newcastle in pre-season at Scotstoun, and one of their second rows broke the line, and just thinking, I've got to just dive ankles here, and like just
speed bump, just operation speed bump.
Stuck my head in the spokes, and I definitely got bounced, but somebody tackled him from behind, so it made me look all right. It made it look like I made the tackle, but I definitely didn't. You just prefer. See, to be fair, I prefer a big second row breaking the line than say like Cheslin Colby or something, because you're going to get embarrassed. If like Pierre Schumann runs over the top of you, they're going to be like, oh, fair enough. If Cheslin Colby breaks your ankles, then it's a bit more embarrassing.
No, I get that. I remember having this discussion with somebody when I was in school, and I'd much prefer to tackle a second row because there's a bit more area to aim for, whereas you get the small guy as well, because most of the small guys as well know how to run like a sprinter with knees up.
Yeah.
So you have a small window of something to hit. Yeah.
But the second row is like, I remember when I was playing with the Bulls, Cammy Henderson, who I was obviously at school with, was playing for Stirling. Right. And there was a couple of times, I don't know how, but he always used to break the line. And we had a running joke that he would never be able to step me just because he'd run at me, try and step or bounce me. And I'd just like go as low as I can and he just can't reach down to me because he's so tall. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you.
You're a bit of a nose yourself. You're exactly how to tackle the big man.
Yeah, I do get done for being a nose quite a lot because Dad's obviously a massive fan, and I'm so knowledgeable. I know seem to know everything about like rugby growing up as well. I did a deep dive on my Twitter a few weeks ago, as you do. When I was in Argentina, I spent like 2 hours just going through my Twitter. I got down to like 2014, 2015. And I was just tweeting constantly about Glasgow. Like I remember tweeting. I showed Benzo this when we were away. I tweeted like Mark Bennett with 2 love hearts. He must have been playing for somebody at the time. And that was just like such embarrassing. Like, loser.
Mate, I saw there was a TikTok like that. I saw when my girlfriend sent it to me. She's like, I don't worry about my boyfriend messaging other girls. I worry about him messaging his famous sports stars after they've had a good game.
Yeah, that was
it's so true.
Yeah, definitely me.
Hey, we've all done it. So down to the final 2, and these are the proper good ones. Who is most likely to go to Nando's and order a plain level spice?
Ross Thompson.
Really, just can't hack the heat. And finally,
probably just can't hack it. Yeah.
And finally, who's the one that hogs the mirror the most post game, knowing he's got a big interview coming up?
Rufus.
Really, just loves it.
So much time in his hair. Yeah. He loves looking in the mirror. Yeah. Rufus.
Love that. Well, there we go. As under the team bus, Ollie Smith. That was phenomenal. Proper answer, and you didn't even sell out Murph that much. Everything was fair.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, most of my answers are justified when it comes to Murph. Yeah.
I love the thought of doing that. That when you do that and the rest of the team watches it and they all just go, "Aye, spot on there. Yeah, he's spot on there. Aye, he's got it down."
We'll talk about that kind of quite a lot actually, and you'll just be like, "Who kind of does that?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, good answer. That's a good. Yeah, I can see it."
I love that. Do you know what? I really think it sounds like the team spirit at Glasgow. Like you said, you maybe didn't have the best season, and obviously ended on a few sour notes like the Leinster game and things like that. Yeah. There's such a family atmosphere in that team.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like the rugby is almost like it grows because of the family atmosphere, not the other way around.
Because when you're in a tight knit group, you're obviously going to want to perform for the boys. Like it becomes more personal, winning games and stuff like that, and it shows on the pitch as well. If you're a tight knit group, you're going to play better because you just know each other.
No, I love that. So now the only thing we've got left to do is to say off. So after next year, when you've won the championship, big win. Whatever they've decided to call the league next year after as many name changes.
Yeah, I know.
You've got to pick 3 songs to get the boys ready for a night out. Victor's managed to give you he's given you the what do you call it, the speaker for the day out. What 3 songs are you picking and why?
So the first song I'll pick is Miami by Will Smith.
Great.
I don't know how I managed to learn it, but I can recite the whole song. So if I have to sing on a bus, that's usually my go-to is Will Smith, Miami.
Mate, if I'm ever struggling for social content, I'm going to send you a message. Can I get a 3-minute video clip of
me just singing Miami? Yeah. That's a
somebody will call your bluff on it on Twitter. I hope.
Oh yeah. Then my second one would be Summer '91 by Noizu. It's a bit more dancey and stuff like that, and it's just like I remember I had my 21st last year. I made a big playlist for it, and that was my favorite song on it. It's just like it's such a nice kind of summer song.
It gets the toes tapping.
Yeah. And then the last one would be it's Dr. Pressure by Julian the Angel. It's like a remix of like an old favorite, and Murphy actually put me onto it, so I'll give him credit. And it is much more of like a sort of like house music-y kind of.
So at that point you're ready. You're like, get me in the club right now.
Yeah. So like Miami would be the start, kind of started prees or whatever. And then it just kind of builds up, and then Dr. Pressure would be like more towards the end.
I love that. You like that? What was that? Do you remember that Zac Efron film that came out like 8 years ago or something now? And it was like him and Emily Ratajkowski. And he was like a DJ.
Your friends. Yeah. That's a good movie. I like that movie.
I quite like that. But you've got it there. You're like, you have to start with the heart rate pace, and then you kind of build it up.
Yeah, I remember. See, you kind of spent a lot of time drinking in the flat for lockdown, and they'd come to our flat quite a lot. The boys.
when it was legal, obviously, before anybody says anything.
Yeah. And it would be like my Spotify that would be on it. So I spent a lot of time playing DJ and thought like this
Love
song
that.
kind of go into this song. I love listening to music. So
I love that. Well, Ollie, this has been the best. I've had so much fun, and I thought it was a perfect way to cap off season 2. So thank you for that. Where can they follow you on social media to keep up to date with all your adventures?
So on Twitter, I actually don't know what my Twitter handle is, which is quite embarrassing. I think it's a bit of an embarrassment. My Instagram is Ollie Smith _, and Ollie's got 2 E's in it.
Right.
It's the most common name in the world, so it's impossible to have it simple.
It's always good about having the last name Smith. But anyway, all of them will be down in the description anyway, folks, on every platform, so you will be able to find them nice and simple. I'll also put a link down below for Give Blood for Good. Everything will be there. This has been amazing. Folks, this is the end of season 2. I've had so much fun. This is now for everybody looking at this is the 25th of July. I started recording this season in early March when I was getting the people in. That's how long it takes to get a season together, because I'm just ringing phones and praying that somebody bothers to reply to me. So thank you to the listeners. You make this so much fun. It's actually why I do it, because it gives everybody something to do. If I did it and nobody listened to it, I just look like a weirdo in my bedroom. So thank you guys so much for coming in. As usual, all criticism is welcome, constructive criticism. If you're just going to be mean and funny, I've got really thick skin because I come from a rugby background. So I'm just going to take your retweets for fun. So there you go. As usual, like, subscribe, follow Ollie, follow the podcast, do whatever it is you need to do. Tell your mum, your friends, your dog. Go out there, donate blood, make a change. Let's do some good. See you season 3. Don't know what it will be, but it will be good and it will be better than ever, as it always is. See you again very, very soon.